I'm going to tell you a true story about the pitfalls of walking in the law and thereby in the flesh. This tale concerns a man who we'll call Chris. When Chris started school at a small Christian college, he quickly became a leader among the students. The chair of the ministerial division of the school, Chris was looked up to as a spiritual mentor and guide. He was the kind of guy who seemed to have it all, very successful in all areas of life, the guy everyone else wanted to be like. A pastor in training, Chris was a gifted speaker, wowing his classmates with each new sermon. Chris had it all, every I dotted and every T crossed, until the day it all fell apart. And the entire school was rocked when the news broke that Chris had been involved in an affair with a married classmate. Chris, who wore the right clothes, used the right words, listened to all the right music, and attended the right church, was living a lie. His secret life had been carefully hidden and guarded, while in public he had instructed others on how to live a life for God. But the cautiously woven threads of private life began to unwind when his married lover became pregnant. Overnight, it seemed all was undone. He and the girl dropped out of school, she left her husband, and together with Chris left town. In the wake of the revelation was shock and despair. The other students, those who had longed to be like Chris, wondered what hope there could be for their own spiritual path if Chris had fallen so hard. They began to question everything that Chris had ever said or done. His witness was completely and utterly destroyed. Chris and his new wife, feeling unworthy and shameful, walked away from the church. He imposed the same judgment on himself that he had preached to others at college, feeling that he had surely damaged his relationship with God beyond repair. And so Chris and his wife lost nearly a decade to self-imposed exile from the church and from God. I'm happy to say that the story doesn't end there, though. After all those years of separation and pain, Chris and his wife have been restored to the church. They've begun to accept the fact that God can forgive them, that His grace can cover their sins. They found a church that will accept them with all of their baggage of the past, where they have been encouraged to lay that baggage down at the cross and start anew. Chris has learned that God does indeed turn our ashes into beauty. Chris is learning how to walk in the Spirit and not in the law. And he's learning how amazing grace is, even if grace doesn't make sense.